Hello and welcome to 2016 in the Google small business community. My name is Ben Tyson and it's a new year, so that means it's time to start that new business. With that in mind, we've invited small business expert and author Julie Gordon-White to give us her best tips and tricks for business planning. Julie, thanks so much for being with us today.
Hi, Ben. Great to be here.
Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Well, I've had the pleasure of working with thousands of small business owners over the last 12 years with my mergers and acquisitions firm, and then my book Exit, 12 Steps to Sell Your Business for the Price You Deserve, and my company, The Well, for women entrepreneurs with our online training program called Accelerate.
Well, fantastic. Well, today we're going to talk about starting a brick and mortar business. Now, it's no secret that small businesses are really big in the brick and mortar game.
Yes.
What's interesting, though, is that the SBA shows the small business sector in the U.S. occupies 30 to 50%, which is about of all commercial space, which is about 20 to 34 billion square feet. If you're a small business owner, in your opinion, what should you consider when trying to launch a retail space?
Yeah. Well, starting a retail business is tricky business. So start out by really understanding what the fixed expenses are. And the number one fixed expense is your rent. Yes, you've got utilities and insurance, but rent is the thing that's really going to make you or break you. So the stats are for clothing type retail, high traffic retail, rent should be about 7.6% of your revenue. And if it's a destination location, let's say automotive or a maternity store, you're going there for a specific reason, about 1.5% of your revenue should be right. But if you're in a high traffic location or metropolitan area, it's going to be a little higher. So you've got to be really, really careful about your lease. If you sign a 3-year lease, Ben, you're on the hook for that, whether you're making money or not, right?
Yes.
So you've got to be really careful. It's important you'll have either a great commercial real estate attorney or a commercial real estate broker who can negotiate that lease for you in the beginning with the most advantageous terms.
Well, I'll tell you what, signing a lease, that scares me, right? And it seems like it would scare most brick and mortar type businesses.
Yeah.
The question is there possible to kind of test out like a brick and mortar experience before you actually sign a lease?
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. There's farmers markets everywhere. Expos, pop-ups are really big. But a fun little piece is I have a client that started a t-shirt business out of an airstrip, out of a truck, basically.
Wow.
Parked out of farmers market. And now she has over 3 retail locations, some pop-ups in airports, and it's a multi-million-dollar business.
Wow.
Pretty cool.
That's fantastic. So one of the common mistakes I think that a lot of folks in the retail industry make is they hire the wrong people. So any advice on how to start hiring staff? And then furthermore, is there a good kind of best practice, if you will, in regards to managing those overall labor costs?
Yeah. Did you see me take a big breath right there? I mean, that's such a big, along with rent, hiring is like the number 2, tied for number 1 issue. People, right? And so really, business owners need to resist hiring family and friends. That's the first go-to because, it's easy. You know them, you trust them, but it's hard to run a small business, but especially if you got to be open 7 days a week, in retail, and it takes a toll on people. And so if you actually have to fire them, it's really hard to fire anyway. And if you have to fire your family member or your best friend, that's a problem. So really push yourself to hire outside of the business. Pay attention to scheduling, trying to avoid overtime where you get in trouble, and make sure that you don't work too many hours because retail can be pretty exhausting.
It's a great point. I think I would probably go to my best friend first and say, hey, you want to work for me? That's some great insight. To sum everything up, what's one thing that you want every small business owner to remember when they're just getting started?
Absolutely. Well, when you start one retail business, that's great, but don't be afraid to think big. Think multiple units because that's when you're really going to start to make money. But don't shoot out too far. Make that one unit really, really good. So start right where you are, make it really, really profitable, get your systems down. So after you do those 2 things, you've got to focus on selling. Sell your way to success because you can have the most beautiful store location in the world, and if people aren't coming in and buying, you won't be able to stay in business. So sell your way to success, Ben.
Fantastic stuff. And if you want to learn more from Julie, you can attend her free webinar every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific called the 21-Day Business Plan. We'll also post more details on how you can sign up in the community. Julie, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks. My pleasure.
And thank you for watching. As always, all of our content is available on g.co/GSBC. And please follow us on Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, and of course, Google+. Until next time, I'm Ben Tyson. Tyson. Thanks so much for joining us in the Google Small Business community, the place you go to get the help you need to succeed on the web.